Hey guys, it's John. Today, June 22nd, we received some pretty big news for Dead by Daylight. They are going to be doing a big overhaul to the game's perks, as well as a lot of other general quality of life changes, and the patch notes just came out, so I'm going to be reacting to them live. I'm not streaming this, I'm just recording it for YouTube, because I'm not streaming today. Just so happened to release on my day off. How about that? So we're going to be going through all this together. It's pretty lengthy, but I'll be giving my thoughts and reactions to it. It should be a good time. Great. I hope you're ready for a very dry hour. During our 6th anniversary broadcast, we announced a new progression system and a meta-shifting perk overhaul. We're thrilled to say that both initiatives will headline the upcoming mid-chapter. From the onset, it was important for us to release these changes as a package. Our objective is to shake up the current meta, provide alternatives, and make perks easier to earn. We were also careful to consider the reasons why this meta exists and address any base game issues it may have been concealing. In this post, we'll be detailing the upcoming changes, all of which will be available for testing in the public test build next week. Great, so we'll be able to test these out next week. Not sure that any productive changes will come from that, but I guess that remains to be seen. Overhauled Progression system. This is something that a lot of people are really excited about. There's going to be a way that they're going to reduce the grind in the game and make it to where you earn perks a lot easier. Overhauled Progression system. So this is something that a lot of people are really excited about. Possibly the thing that people were the most excited about from the anniversary stream announcements. The grind in DBD has grown to be increasingly oppressive over the years, and it's been clear for a while that they've needed to do something about it, and it looks like they are finally implementing something. So I'm excited to read specifically, exactly what they're planning. They talked in general terms about it on the stream. Collecting all the perks has been an important goal for main players. However, since both the number of perks and characters are constantly increasing, the grind expands at an exponential rate with every new chapter. To address this, we're completely overhauling the way perks are earned, adding new rewards, and making completion easier than ever before. In the current system, you must reach level 40 on a given character to unlock all the teachable perks. Then find those perks in the blood webs of every other character. In order to unlock all the new perks of every character, by the time the next chapter releases, you'll need to play an estimated 4.1 hours every day. With this new system, that estimate decreases to an average of 1.01 hours every day. That's not even factoring in blood point bonuses. In other words, this is the largest single reduction to grind we've ever made, cutting it by roughly 75%. Very impressive. You know how behavior loves their statistics. So they're very proud of that. And you know what? It sounds good, but let's look at the specifics. Unlocking perks. The teachable rarity is no more. Now perks are tied directly to prestige. Prestiging a character for the first time, which they don't explain this, but if you're new to Dead by Daylight or you just don't know anything about the game, if you don't know anything about the game, sorry, that sounded really smug. If you don't know, prestiging is when you hit level 50 on a character, you can choose to prestige them, and they start over at level 1. They lose everything. They lose all their perks, all their items, add-ons, and offerings, and you get like a unique bloody cosmetic for the character. And you can do this 3 times to prestige 3, which is max level, but that's changing with these changes. So prestiging a character for the first time now will instantly unlock the tier 1 versions of their 3 unique perks for all other killers or survivors, making them immediately available for use without ever opening the blood web. Great. Prestiging a character for the second and third time will unlock the tier 2 and 3 versions of their unique perks. Alternatively, higher tier versions of their perks will randomly appear in blood webs once the first tier has been unlocked. So like if you prestige 1, a Claudette, but you don't continue prestiging the Claudette, she'll have all the other characters, all the other survivors will have tier 1 self-care, and you might get tier 2 and 3 self-care in the blood web. But then if you prestige 2 and 3 Claudette, then every survivor in the game that you have will have tier 3 self-care. Just an example. Here they go. They basically give a very similar example. Anyway, this way you'll only need to earn the perks once to use them on every character. The perks you've unlocked will be instantly available on any new characters as well, making them easier to pick up and play without a substantial blood point investment. This is great. I'm all for this. This is a fantastic solution. I think it would be more elegant to have perks just have 1 tier, but this is fine too. No more resets. Prestiging has always been a bit of a dilemma. Do you give up everything for bragging rights, or do you keep what you have to minimize the grind? Now that prestiging is the main way to unlock perks, we want to make the choice clear. Prestiging a character will no longer remove their perks, items, add-ons, or offerings. And perk slots will also remain unlocked after prestiging. So what they mean is that when your character's level 1, you only have 1 perk slot. When they're level 5, they get 2. Level 10, they get 3. Level 15, they get 4. And right now, when you prestige a character and they start at level 1, they only get 1 perk slot. Well, that's going away, which is great because there was no reason to have that in the first place. With no reason not to prestige, prestiging a character is no longer optional. After reaching level 50, you'll receive a special blood web with only a single node. Purchasing this node will increase your prestige level and reset your character's level to 1. This is all great. Don't have a problem with any of this so far. Endless prestige. With prestige now being the main way to progress, it'll no longer be as impressive to have your characters maxed out at prestige level 3. It only made sense to have a new way to recognize our most committed players, so we've removed the prestige limit entirely. But what would prestige levels be without rewards? So if you hit prestige level 4, 5, and 6, you get the bloody cosmetics. Okay, so here's how it works. When you prestige level 1, 2, and 3, the reward is you get that character's 3 perks unlocked at that tier for all your other survivors or killers. 4, 5, and 6 give you the bloody cosmetics. 7, 8, and 9 will give you charms for their 3 unique perks. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to go back now. Now that prestiging for the first 3 times awards perks, it only made sense to move these higher. If you've already unlocked these cosmetics, don't worry. We won't be taking them away from you. You've earned it. Okay. I guess you just won't get rewards for 4, 5, and 6 then if you've already earned them. So anyway, yeah, you get charms. All right. I'm not big on charms, but I'm sure some people will be happy by this. We also want to highlight your dedication to your favorite characters, no matter how many times you've prestiged them. Once the trial is over, your prestige level will now be shown in the space previously occupied by grades. So this is a example screenshot right here. They've got 8, 6, 5, 7, 7. Interesting. So now, when you get completely schooled by just a juicer Nia and you go to the post game, you can see that the Nia's, prestige 99. I wonder how high it goes. If it's endless prestige, I guess there's no cap. The Shrine of Secrets. Unlike before, where the Shrine of Secrets would offer teachable perks that then need to be found in blood webs, the Shrine will now allow you to purchase perks directly. Purchasing a perk through the Shrine of Secrets will make the tier 1 version of it immediately available on all killers or survivors, much like prestige. Subsequent tiers of that perk will also begin appearing in blood webs. You may purchase a perk again to increase its tier. This works seamlessly with the prestige system, as purchasing a perk you've already unlocked through prestige will instead increase its tier. Yeah, okay, fine. I think this will make the shrine less interesting than before. They didn't say anything about if you purchase a perk again, you get 150k blood points, which currently when you purchase a perk from the Shrine of Secrets, you get 150k blood points if you already have the perk unlocked as a teachable. They don't say anything about that. That kind of makes me worried that they're taking that away. I wouldn't be surprised because I imagine the rationale might be, well, we reduced the grind by 75%. But whatever. It doesn't really matter to me. I don't really care much about the Shrine of Secrets. Transitioning to the new system, with many spending hundreds, if not thousands of hours playing Dead by Daylight over the years, we want to make sure that everyone is rewarded fairly. When the system releases, we'll be automatically awarding existing players an appropriate number of prestige levels based on how many perk tiers they've unlocked. Oh, okay. If you've left all your characters at level 50 and focused on unlocking perks, your work will be for nothing. Great. Well, I'm excited about that because I've done that to a lot of my survivors and a lot of my killers. Most of my killers are not prestiged. I think only Pyramid Head, Sadako, and Nemesis are prestiged. And that's it. Oh, and Ghostface. It's also important that you don't lose anything when the system is updated. You will keep any perks and blade prestige cosmetics you've already unlocked, obviously. Those who reach Prestige 3 before the update will receive a special prestige icon to recognize their achievements and commemorate the perks and add-ons they lost in the process. Well, what do these look like? What special prestige icon? I'm guessing the icon they're talking about is going to show up in the post-game like this. Because I'd like to... I mean... Is it just going to be like what this Meg has, though? Here, look. Oh, I think it made it smaller. Here. Is it just going to be like what this Meg has with the extra tentacles? Because that one's different than the other ones I noticed. Or that might just mean that they're the obsession. I don't know. We'll be hosting a live stream soon to show the updated system in action and answer any questions you may have. Yeah, I have a question about what that icon looks like because I need to know whether or not I care about having it. Because, I mean, I can go ahead and prestige these guys if I want to. Matchmaking incentives. Okay, so we're done with the grind reduction. My overall impression is good. DBD has sorely needed a grind reduction, so I'm glad that they're doing it. Great. I mean, I think it should have been done before this, and I would have had some solutions like just doing one perk tier that I think would be more elegant, but this works too. As long as it happens, you know, I'm happy with it. You know, it's not perfect, but it'll do. Matchmaking has been a major focus over the past year, and we're maintaining that through year 7. Oof. Hearing them say year 7 makes it hit home. Year 7? Wow. Though many changes are planned to improve wait times and match quality, there are variables that we can't control through code. Chief among them is the distribution of people playing each role. If there's simply not enough people queuing for one role, the matchmaker's abilities to create quality matches suffers. Being an asymmetrical game, Dead by Daylight works best when there's roughly 4 survivors to each killer. If this 4-to-1 ratio deviates too far, matchmaking time and quality will start to degrade. Too many survivors will cause survivor queue times to increase, while too few survivors will cause killer queue times to increase. Right. Yeah. To complicate things further, this ratio varies greatly depending on your region, rating, and time of day. In some regions, we've observed an excess of survivors queuing, while in others, too few. Oftentimes, this will change over the course of the day. So how do we go about improving this? Enter matchmaking incentives. Whenever the number of survivors, killers to survivors differs too much from the ideal ratio, we'll offer a blood point bonus to anyone who opts to play the needed role. This bonus ranges from plus 25 to plus 100% depending on demand levels. These bonuses will be shown in the main menu beside each role's play button, as well as besides the ready button. So basically, what they're saying here, if you're not getting it, is if there's like more survivors queuing than killers, and the ratio is like 8-to-1, for example, they'll be like, hey, if you play killer, we'll give you 100% more blood points. Depending on the demand level. So they're trying to get more of an equal footing, which is fine. I don't think this is really going to play into any of my decisions, the matchmaking incentives, unless there's something I'm specifically trying to earn. But it's good that they're doing that. I think, unfortunately, knowing the DBD community, I think what this will primarily be used for, though, is I think it's going to be at like 100% incentive for killer a lot. And I think that killer mains are probably going to be like, see, nobody's playing killer. That's my prediction, is that it's just going to be used for political gain, if you will, in the game for whatever your side happens to be. But, it's more blood points. So, I guess that's a net positive, right? I don't really have many thoughts on this, frankly. Playing in a group can also net you a bonus if survivors are needed at the time. However, this will only apply if your group's average matchmaking rating is currently in demand. Yeah, okay. Matchmaking incentives will be disabled if crossplay is turned off. Oh, no. As most players play with crossplay on, the system would be highly susceptible to manipulation, and switching roles would have a negligible effect on matchmaking. Okay, yeah, well, I have crossplay on pretty much all the time, so... yeah, I mean, I don't really have any thoughts on matchmaking incentives. It's fine. I know we're going to see screenshots from people being like, see, this is why nobody's playing insert role here. Look at the 100% incentive. And that's going to be annoying to see. Gameplay updates. All right, this is what I'm most excited about, the gameplay updates. Like, I love that the grind is being reduced, but this is what I'm here for. And probably what you're here for too. Some of the most consistent feedback we receive centers around the perk meta. A handful of perks have dominant usage rate, especially in higher skill matches. Naturally, the gameplay can feel stale when you see the same perks again and again. In the past, we've addressed individual perks through various updates, but the odd meta change is not enough to shake things up. In this update, we are reworking and rebalancing 39 perks, meta included. We aim to reduce the reliance on the current meta while also providing many new options to experiment with. So I'm sure they're going to go into this, but they're talking about perks like Dead Hard, Decisive Strike, Borrowed Time, maybe Adrenaline, Unbreakable, I don't know, Scourge Hook, Pain Resonance, Hex Ruin, I don't know, Barbecue and Chili, I think I saw on the list. I saw a screenshot of the list earlier. Noed, just really common perks that you see all the time. Before we can make meaningful changes to the meta, we need to look at why these perks are so heavily used in the first place. Now, see, this is where you're starting to lose my trust a little bit, because I'm not sure that they know. But I'll reserve judgment until I see the results. While some perks are popular because of their strengths, others are popular because they reduce likelihood of an unfun situation. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say most of the Survivor perks are the latter. That you said most of the common meta perks that you see on Survivor are the latter. Borrowed Time, Decisive Strike, even Dead Hard, I think. Dead Hard is both, but yeah. Therefore, we've prepared a few baseline changes to address some of the core gameplay issues. Now, if you were around for the developer Q&A back in February, one of the lead designers, Patrick, heavily implied that they were going to make Borrowed Time, which gives you a 12-second endurance status effect after an unhook. He implied that they were going to make that base kit. Heavily implied it. So we'll see if that's the case. Generator speeds. Okay, actually, I'm excited about this. When looking at the perks most used by killers, there's a very clear trend. Any perk that helps prevent generators from being powered, slowdown perks for short, are favored. Corrupt Intervention, Pop Goes the Weasel, Scourge Hook, Pain Resonance, and Hex Ruin are a few notable examples, and each are amongst the most popular perks. True. Sometimes people run 4 slowdown perks, and that's really fun to play against in solo queue. Many players feel like generators are powered too quickly without these perks, so we knew we needed to take a look at generators before making any perk changes. I am totally fine with this. Slowdown perks should be an option, but not the only option to stay competitive. First, we have increased the time it takes to power a generator to 90 seconds, up from 80 seconds. Okay. Yeah, I'm totally fine with this. I am actually very surprised that they did this, because Behavior has gone on record many times as saying they don't want to, they want to reduce the amount of time that survivors spend just holding down left mouse button on a generator. Or if they're on a controller, I don't know, I don't know what they press, Y, RB. So increasing the number of time it takes to power a generator by 10 seconds is fine with me, because I've been on the other side many times where gens are just flying. I don't think that 10 seconds on one generator is really enough to feel it, but over 5 generators, that's almost a full minute, 50 full seconds extra that it would take to complete 5 generators. And I think that's going to make a very significant change to the pacing of games. And, we'll have to see what other changes they have in mind, because for me, I'm totally fine with this change, but it is going to have to coincide with other changes. But let's read their rationale. The time it takes to complete a generator hasn't been changed in a long time, but it's clear that they are being powered quicker than we'd like. By slowing them down slightly, we hope to give killers a bigger window to interrupt survivors, particularly at the beginning of a trial. Totally fine with this. Good change. Second, kicking a generator will now instantly remove 2.5% of the maximum progress. I was actually thinking of this exact thing the other day. I didn't have 2.5% in my mind, but I was thinking that just regular kicks, without Pop Goes the Weasel, without Call of Brine, without these killer perks that enhance kicking generators, I was thinking that just the default kick should be buffed. So this is great, actually. 2.5% is pretty strong. This change makes kicking generators more meaningful, even if a survivor stops it from regressing shortly after. Yeah, gen tapping. Additionally, survivors must now decide whether they should tap a generator to prevent regression, as this allows the killer to kick it again and knock off even more progress. So yeah, this could make 3 gens a little more annoying to deal with on the survivor side, but overall I think this is a good change. I think both of these are a good change on the killer side. With these 2 changes, we hope to reduce the reliance on passive slowdown mechanics and promote increased interaction between killers and survivors. Yeah, good changes overall. No problem so far. General killer improvements. The average kill rates, how many survivors are killed each trial on average, are a little lower than we'd like, a sentiment echoed by many community members. Yeah. Won't someone think of the killer mains, man? To ensure the killer feels like an unstoppable force to be feared, we're making slight improvements to many aspects of killer gameplay. I'm just going to say real quick, killers already feel like unstoppable forces in low MMR. It's just in high MMR that they don't. So they're going to be careful how they make changes here. We've reduced the time it takes to break walls and pallets by 10%. Wow. Free brutal strength. Look at that. Well, half brutal strength rank 1. Now 2.34 seconds, previously 2.6. So everybody gets brutal strength 1 base kit. Interesting. Yeah, you know, when you look at that as like, I mean, it's a fourth of a second, which is something that will add up over time, but not game breaking. Generators can also be kicked 10% faster than before. Now 1.8 seconds was 2 seconds. While these changes may seem small, a fraction of a second can be the difference between hitting a survivor and them reaching a pallet. Oh no, wouldn't want them to reach a pallet. Yeah, I mean, this is fine, I guess. This does seem small, but I think this is actually like pretty significant. It'll make chases shorter for sure. Next, we've reduced the cooldown for successful basic attacks by 10%. Now 2.7 seconds, previously 3 seconds. And reduce the duration of the survivor's speed boost upon being hit by 10%. Now 1.8 seconds was 2 seconds. Okay, the combination of these, I mean, I'm not against it, but it's a lot. Moving forward, survivors will gain slightly less distance upon being hit, making it more difficult for them to run long distances to a safe area. Yeah, you know, I guess that's fine. I guess that's fine because, like, you know, sometimes when you're playing killer and you hit them, and then they get such a big speed boost from it that like the whole W meta, I guess, is what this is combating. And yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it like that, actually, I think this is good. I was a little bit annoyed by it at first just because it feels like it's just going to result in shorter chases, and chases are the most fun part of the game for both sides. But this is specifically to counteract hold W. So where survivors only play. If you don't know what the hold W meta is, basically it's the survivor style of gameplay where looping a singular like loop like Killer Shack or an LT wall, that's ditched in favor of maximizing distance. So the survivor, instead of like looping and having a chase around like a vault or a pallet, they'll simply hold W on keyboard to go forward and just maximize the distance to extend the chase. This is what they do in competitive DBD. It's hold W basically. It's pre-drop pallet, hold W. So this will actually help combat that a little bit. It's not going to be huge, but I think this in combination with this are pretty good changes overall. Very impressed so far. I think these are great changes. Finally, we've tweaked Bloodlust to increase in power quicker than before. Okay, you lost me now. In most chases, Bloodlust does not activate, though there are rare cases where it can be necessary. The long buildup often leaves the killer in a bad spot, even if they eventually get a hit. We are adjusting Bloodlust tiers to activate after 15, 25, 35 seconds of chasing rather than 15, 30, 45 seconds. Okay, I don't agree with this change. So if you're not sure what Bloodlust is, so Bloodlust is a mechanic that they actually introduced. It wasn't originally in the game. They introduced to killers to give them additional speed in long chases so that they could end the chase. So Bloodlust, if you're in a chase for 15, 30, 45 seconds, now 15, 25, 35 seconds, you would get tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 of Bloodlust. And each tier of Bloodlust gave you additional movement speed. I don't know. I'm against the idea of... I'm against just Bloodlust as a mechanic altogether. I was hoping that they would outright remove it. I guess ultimately I have to be okay with it. What are they gonna do? Change it? Change it back. That's fine. I'm eager to see, because the next section is camping and tunneling, so maybe this will balance out. Though slight, these changes affect every killer and can have ramifications on the game. We will be watching closely to ensure that nothing gets out of hand. Yes. Okay. Overall, general killer improvements, good. I'm a little worried about the bloodlust thing. I don't think bloodlust needs a buffed. I think it's kind of not good for the game. I think it's one of those things in the game that I think kind of rewards bad play. But, I'm not like married to that opinion. It's just like, I don't really care that much about bloodlust. I know I'm talking about it a lot, so I'll just move on. Camping and tunneling, I'm very curious about this section. On the survivor side, there's a clear preference for perks that grant a second chance. Borrowed Time, Decisive Strike, Dead Hard, and other perks of that nature help a survivor avoid certain death, leading to an extreme usage rate. A benefit of these second chance perks is how they help prevent unfun situations, namely being camped or tunneled out of the game. Tunneling is repeatedly being targeted after being unhooked. In order to incentivize a meaningful change in the meta, it was clear we need to address these controversial tactics. Second chance perks should be nice to have, not essential to ensuring enjoyable gameplay. Okay, I like where they're coming from with this. Moving forward, survivors will receive a 5-second endurance effect after being unhooked. This gives the unhooked survivor an opportunity to reach a nearby window or pallet, or for another survivor to position themselves for a protection hit. You're expecting a lot out of solo queue. Maybe in Swift. People don't position themselves for protection hits in solo queue. They do. I'm just exaggerating, but all right. Additionally, the unhooked survivor will receive a 7% haste effect for 5 seconds. This will make them hard to catch and encourage killers to shift focus to the unhooking survivor. If you think that the tunneling killer is not going to just wait out the 5 seconds, which is not a lot of time, 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, smack. If you think they're not going to wait the 5 seconds, they wait out the 12 seconds of BT all the time. If a killer wants to tunnel you, they're gonna tunnel you. There's not much you can do about it. They'll eat DS. They'll wait out borrowed time. They'll refuse to kick a pallet so they can bloodlust 3 you no matter how good of a looper you are. I mean, it's just gonna happen. So interesting. I guess this is what they were talking about when they were talking about making a borrowed time base kit. Except instead of 12 seconds, it's 5. I do not think that 5 seconds is really enough to deter killers, especially if they know that it's base kit. One of the benefits of running borrowed time is that killers will play around it even if you don't have borrowed time. And if everyone has this and it's only 5 seconds, they're just going to wait out the 5 seconds. It does give an opportunity, so it's better than nothing. I just don't think it's going to really change anything. Okay, both effects will be canceled prematurely if the unhooked survivor performs what we now call a conspicuous action. These are interactions other than chase that would improve your chances of survival, including repairing a generator, healing yourself, cleansing or blessing a totem, sabotaging a hook, unhooking others, opening an exit gate. So this is the DS rule. This is how they changed Decisive Strike. Because Decisive Strike used to be, once you got unhooked, for the next 60 seconds, you were basically immune. Like, you could be downed, but if the killer picked you up to put you on hook, you could hit a skill check and stun them. So, but then they changed Decisive Strike to where it deactivates as soon as you touch a generator. I think it's hilarious that they have this. Like, in what scenario is someone off hook in the 5 seconds after being unhooked? Is this going to like affect them? They go repair a generator and lose the endurance effect for 5 seconds? I mean, who's going to go off hook and like within 2 seconds just go immediately get on a gen? Whatever. I don't really see the point of that, but okay. Yeah, not thrilled with this so far. Oh, that's it. That's all they're doing for camping and tunneling. Okay, well, I guess we'll look at the meta perk changes. Pretty dissatisfied with this section overall. Yeah, if this is all that's happening, it's not going to do anything about camping and tunneling. Whereas these are pretty sizable killer improvements, I would say. These are going to change the game. It's going to result in shorter chases for sure. And this, I mean, okay. I think they could have done more. But again, it's better than nothing. All right, meta perk changes. Now, this is probably the meatiest part of the patch notes is what are they going to do to meta perks? What are they going to do to Dead Hard? For this update, perk changes fall into one of the two categories. Meta perks that are used too often and non-meta perks that serve a similar purpose but aren't used as much. Cool. We understand that many of you have grown attached to your favorite perks and loadouts. Unfortunately, shaking up the meta inevitably leads to a few changes. They'll get over it. Whatever. Wah. Shut up. Rest assured that our goal is to provide alternatives that align with your preferred playstyle while widening the scope to include more viable perk options. Great. I'm totally on board with this. It's also important to note that not every meta perk is equal, and each was considered on a case-by-case basis. So what are Dead by Daylight's meta perks? By referencing both community feedback and internal data, we can see that some perks stand above the rest. For killers, Barbecue and Chili, Hex Ruin, Pop Goes the Weasel, Corrupt Intervention, Tinkerer, Hex No One Escapes Death, and Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. For survivors, Dead Hard, Borrowed Time, Decisive Strike, Iron Will, Self-Care, and Spine Chill. Spine Chill? I was expecting to see Unbreakable on there. I don't know how they would change Unbreakable. Take away the 30% speed boost? I don't know. Spine Chill? What? All right. Self-Care, too. I don't know why. Self-Care and Spine Chill. I was so taken aback by Spine Chill, I missed Self-Care. What are they doing to those two? Hopefully not nerfing. These two perks do not need to be nerfed. Hopefully, you know what? I'll even it out. They don't need to nerf Noed either. Or Tinkerer. I don't think... I mean, some of these other ones... They already nerfed Pop Goes the Weasel. I didn't like the Pop Goes the Weasel nerf that they did. Where they reduced the amount of time that you have to use it. I thought it was extreme. What are they going to do? What are they going to do to Hex Ruin? Oh, I'm worried now. We'd like to share these graphs showcasing the 10 most frequently used perks for both roles. These charts alone do not explain why the meta exists. For that, we turn to community feedback, but hopefully they provide context for how heavily these perks are used. Okay, so I've actually seen this chart before, and I'll give you an idea of what you're looking at. If you want to look at it up close, I know you won't be able to really see on the screen. Yeah, I'll leave a link to the patch notes in the description. Boom, problem solved. Or in a pinned comment. I haven't decided yet. So this right here. So the vertical axis is the percent of matches. So it goes from 0% at the bottom to 75%. Okay? And then the horizontal axis is looks like MMR. It doesn't say it here, but it's MMR. So going from like 850 MMR here all the way at the end, 2000 MMR at the very end, which nobody's at 2000 MMR. So 850 to 1950. And each color is a perk. So this big pink line that starts at 20% at low MMR and goes all the way up to 75% at high MMR, that's Dead Hard. So basically what this is saying is that Dead Hard is used in 75% of matches, which means at least one survivor, right? Which means that in 20, what's really surprising by this is 75% in top MMR, for me to complete my sentence. What's really surprising about this is that there's 25% of matches at top MMR where no one has Dead Hard, which I find very, very troubling. Also, the thickness of the line is how many matches. So most people are between, it looks like 1100 and 1600 MMR. So in the middle there. So yeah, Dead Hard, very much used, and nothing even comes close. Looks like, I think that's Decisive Strike is used in 50% of matches in top MMR. That's this brown line right here. I'm not sure if you can see it running through the middle. And that's used less down there. Yeah, this pink line is Borrowed Time, which actually is used more in mid MMR and then goes down to mid-high MMR and then goes back up to almost 50% at top MMR. So Dead Hard, Borrowed Time, and Decisive Strike are the three most used perks. And the next most used one at less than 30% of matches in top MMR, by the way, is, I believe, this is Spine Chill. I believe this is Spine Chill, this top yellow line. It looks almost identical to the one that's Iron Will, which Iron Will goes down to 15% at top MMR. Iron Will does. And it's 25% in low MMR. Interesting. I'm an Iron Will believer, so this kind of surprises me a little bit. Self-care, by the way, is this purple line. So self-care is used pretty consistently around 25% all the way through. These other ones include Windows of Opportunity, Boon Circle of Healing, Kindred, Adrenaline, Unbreakable, and Sprint Burst. And those are all down here at the bottom. And they're used in less than 20% of matches pretty much the whole way through. So what this chart tells us is that Dead Hard is used in most matches in top MMR. And just behind them, around 50% usage, are Borrowed Time and Decisive Strike. And then Spine Chill is the fourth most used perk in top MMR, which is surprising to me, because I've never really thought Spine Chill was that great outside of Vault Build with Resilience. So yeah, this is the Survivor Edition. Now we're going to look at the Killer version. And this one is interesting. So same thing here, percentage of loadouts. Not percent, oh, sorry, it says percentage of loadouts. Oh, I thought it said percentage of matches. Okay, so I misinterpreted that. So this isn't percentage of matches. This is percentage of loadouts, which makes more sense. So 75% of total loadouts in the game per player include Dead Hard. So 1 out of every 4 players doesn't use Dead Hard in top MMR, and 3 out of 4 players do. That makes a lot more sense. Okay. And then half the time they're running, the ones I talked about, Borrowed Time, Decisive Strike. I don't know what this is. This says Locked is what this is. This big black line that starts almost 50%. I guess it's like almost 50% of low MMR killers have a perk slot locked. Interesting. But the most used one is actually Barbecue and Chili. Through mid MMR all the way to top MMR, where it loses out to a couple perks right here in the upper right. So Barbecue and Chili actually use the most purely for blood points. Barbecue's aura reading that it gives is good, but it's not the primary reason that it's used. It's primarily used for blood points, Barbecue and Chili. So these two perks that start off not really being used, like 5% of low MMR matches, and go all the way up to about 45% in top MMR. These are Hex Ruin, I believe. Oh, no, sorry. Corrupt Intervention and Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. I can't really tell. They're very small lines. It's hard to tell what color they are. Corrupt Intervention and Scourge Hook Pain Resonance are the most used killer perks in top MMR, almost 50%. That makes sense. And then next, this is this orange line here is Hex Ruin. Hex Ruin is used at almost 35% of top MMR. And let's see, this blue line or this turquoise line is Pop Goes the Weasel, which is around 30% of top MMR. And then, so outside of Barbecue and Chili, Hex Ruin, Pop Goes the Weasel, Corrupt Intervention, and Pain Res, those 5 perks. For top MMR, it goes all the way down from 30% to about 7% for the next one. And the next one is Noed. Noed is used almost 25% of the time in low MMR, and it is used about 7% of the time in top MMR. So that's an interesting shift. I think Noed's very good. I would expect Noed to be used more in top MMR, but all right then. Other perks here down below that, below the perk poverty line, if you will, include Sloppy Butcher, Tinkerer, Nurse's Calling, Iron Grasp, and Jolt. I'm very surprised to see Jolt on there. But I guess it makes sense because Jolt is, now that they've removed Stranger Things from the game, Jolt is a non-denominational perk. It is unlocked for everyone. So I guess that makes sense why it's there, because Jolt overall, not a very strong perk. Okay, so this basically confirms what we already knew about the most used perks, but it's cool to see the data for sure. Let's go into the perk changes now. Barbecue and chili, okay? So currently, barbecue and chili, upon hooking a survivor, you see the auras of distant survivors, 40 meters or more, for a short duration. And you get a stacking blood point bonus for each unique survivor hooked. So you get 1 stack, 2 stack, 3 stack, 4 stack, and each stack gives you 25% more blood points at the end of the match. This perk is incredibly popular, not because it's particularly powerful, but because of the huge amount of blood points it provides. Choosing to go into a match without it massively slows your progression. We do not want blood points to be the driving factor behind perk choices, so we will be removing the blood point bonus. Okay. While we understand this change may seem shocking, please keep in mind that this update reduces the grind by about 75%, with matchmaking incentives providing an additional avenue for blood points. Okay, and that's all they're doing to barbecue and chili. So they are gutting this perk. Okay. Well, at least I don't have to tell people now when they come into my stream and ask, what killer should I unlock first? I don't have to say Bubba anymore, just for barbecue. So it's just aura reading now. That is, well, there's no reason not to run like Scourge Hook Floods of Rage now, or like something else as an alternative. So Thrilling Tremors is even better now than this. Okay. Yeah, well, you basically shoeboxed barbecue and chili. Shoebox is a term that comes from trading card games. Shoebox is used to talk about like when cards are so bad that they go into the shoebox. Yeah, you've shoeboxed barbecue and chili. Hex Ruin. So currently, generators regress automatically at an increased rate, double their current rate, just by kicking, whenever a survivor is not working on them, as long as the associated Hex Stone is standing. So Hex Ruin, one of the most notorious perks in Dead by Daylight history. It's already had massive changes once, because it used to make skill checks harder, in that if you got a good skill check while working on a gen, you made the generator regress, and you only didn't make it regress if you got a great skill check. And then they just changed it to regress when you're not working on it, which I think is a much better version of it. A massive part of Hex Ruin's appeal is not having to stop and kick generators, as well as the ability to passively regress them from a distance. These aspects makes Ruin a unique slowdown perk, so we're not looking to change them. Okay. Oh, they're not looking to change those aspects. To bring Hex Ruin in line with other perks, we are reducing the regression speed to 50, 75, and 100%, from 100, 150 to 200%. This will reduce its power, you got that right, without destroying its primary appeal. After a survivor is killed, Hex Ruin will automatically deactivate. Whoa. Okay, they gutted Hex Ruin. I understand that I guess, okay, I'm seeing the pattern now. They're gutting these perks. Well, I mean, I'm not going to run Hex Ruin after this. Is that the reaction they want us to have? I mean, first of all, going from double regression to normal regression is pretty slow. Well, hell, just run Call of Brine now. Call of Brine is already, like, seeing a lot of use. It's really powerful. People are finally waking up to Call of Brine. Yeah, okay. Is Hex Ruin just going to get replaced with Call of Brine then? I mean, it's not universal. This is the big part. After a survivor is killed, Hex Ruin will automatically deactivate. On one hand, I like this change because often as survivor, if the killer has Ruin up and they just tunnel someone out of the game at 5 gens and Ruin is still up, it's like literally unwinnable. So, I mean, even with Hex Ruin deactivated, a 3v1 at 5 gens is mostly unwinnable, but it's really unwinnable with Ruin. So I get, like, I sort of get it, but I also don't like it. And that basically means it won't be run. Okay, well, you know what? Hex Ruin, you've been ruined again. Pop goes the weasel. After hooking a survivor, the next generator you kick within the time limit, which has already been reduced once before, instantly loses 25% of its total progress. Pop Goes the Weasel gives killers a controlled way to remove significant progress from a gen of their choosing. Given that kicking a generator now removes 2.5% of its progress by default, we decided to tone down some numbers to compensate. This perk will now remove 20% of the generator's current, not total progress. This change will make Pop Goes the Weasel very effective against generators that are nearly done, but weaker against those with a small amount of progress. Yeah, I guess that's fine, but man. So if you don't know, they already nerfed Pop Goes the Weasel from at rank 3, 60 seconds after a hook, you can use it, to 45 seconds, which was a pretty significant nerf, in my opinion. A lot of times, you hook someone, you get into a chase, you get a hit, and then they get, they hold W or whatever, and you're like, I'll go use my pop, but then you don't make it, and you just do a regular kick on the gen. It's so disheartening. So now you're just going to get less bang for your buck. This isn't as bad as the Ruin and Barbecue changes. Like, I think people still run pop, but Call of Brine is looking much better now, especially with the 2.5% kick that it gets. Actually, Call of Brine got buffed by the kick change. Corrupt Intervention. At the start of the match, the 3 furthest generators are blocked for a while. 90 seconds, a minute and a half. This perk makes the beginning of a match more manageable, forcing survivors to extend deeper into the map before repairing a generator. We aren't looking to change this aspect. Moving forward, the perk will deactivate once a survivor enters the dying state. We believe this change will keep Corrupt Intervention effective in helping the killer build early game pressure while providing a limit to its power. This is a good change. Because, well, I mean, it's just once you down a survivor, it deactivates. Sometimes you can get a really early down. You know what people are gonna do now? Here's my prediction. Sweaty Swift squads are going to abuse this. They're going to see Corrupt Intervention up, and then someone on the team is just going to run headfirst into the killer so that it deactivates and they can start working on gens and they can start blowing through them. I can definitely see that happening. I mean, I guess they could just work on 3 of the generators that aren't blocked, but I don't know. I mean, anytime that you can like just take away a perk in exchange for a down, I feel like that would be efficient overall, especially if you're like a good coordinated team. Well, that was my initial reaction. I'm not sure if that's the best decision, but it's either somebody runs headfirst in the killer and the other 3 teammates can start working on gens right away, or they spend however amount of time trying to find other gens. They might just do that instead, actually, now that I say that. No, yeah, I don't think this is a problem, actually, because if you're in a Sweaty Swift squad, you're just going to go to the gens that aren't blocked, and you're going to trust your teammate to take the killer on a chase. And then Corrupt Intervention won't matter as much. So, yeah, this is a good change overall. Just getting my stream of consciousness thoughts. Sometimes I make a mistake or don't think things through immediately. But yeah, I think I'm okay with Corrupt Intervention. Good change. If I were to rate these changes, I'd say Corrupt Intervention was it's like a B+ change. Pop is like a C+ change, and Ruin and Barbecue are like F. Just my opinion. Tinkerer. When a generator reaches 70% progress, receive a loud noise notification and become undetectable for a short duration. Tinkerer is a popular choice for the information it provides. Being able to prevent a generator from being powered is a game changer, particularly on killers with high mobility. It can, however, become a little oppressive when paired with certain regression perks. Like what? Therefore, Tinkerer can now only activate once per generator, but with the base charges increased to 90, killers will have extra time to approach. I guess that's true. Well, what's 70% of 80? What? 56? 56 is 70% of 80. So 70% of 90 is 63. So that means you're going from 24 remaining charges to 27 remaining charges. It's not really, or sorry, seconds. So you gain 3 seconds. I was thinking about it in terms of charges, but it's seconds. They might be the same, actually. Charges might be seconds. I can't remember. So you gain 3 seconds. It's a nerf. It's a nerf. Don't try to disguise it. Oh, well, they'll have extra time. Yeah, 3 seconds, bro. I mean, I don't think there was anything wrong with Tinkerer. But okay, you know, I don't care. I don't really use Tinkerer much anyway, other than on like Freddy. I never play Freddy, or Sadako, and I never play Sadako. I played Tinkerer on both of those, but that's it. All right, Noed. Oh, don't hurt him. Don't hurt him. I'm a Noed fan. I like Noed. I hope they don't gut it. When the exit gates are powered, all survivors become exposed as long as the associated hex tome is standing. And basically, it doesn't say this, but like if you don't cleanse all 5 dull totems over the course of a game, it'll automatically just make one random one a hex totem, and that's Hex Noed. This perk makes for a very effective comeback tool, though it falls out of favor in high school games. Yeah. We like the way Noed encourages survivors to preemptively cleanse totems, so we're not looking to weaken its direct strength. Instead, survivors will now see the hex totem's aura within 4 meters upon activation. This range increases to 24 meters over the course of 30 seconds. 24 meters? I don't like that. 30. So basically, you get 30 seconds upon activation. So hang on. When it says upon activation, that means once you get a hit with it. Surely. Because if activation means that when the exit gates become powered, then the totem's aura will be seen within 4 meters. It increases over the next 30 seconds to 24. That sucks. If activation means once you hit a survivor with it and it's revealed to everyone that you have Noed, that's different. I do worry about this. I don't like this change. Survivors have plenty of tools to find totems. They have maps, small game, counterforce, memorizing the totem locations. That's usually, I just rely on my brain to find totems. And I've found many a Noed totem that way. Just like, I bet you it's over here, and then there it is. Just because I spent the last 10 minutes running around the map, but I know where the totems are. And I know which ones have been cleansed. I always keep track of that stuff like that. I don't think this is necessary. I think this is kind of holding the survivor's hands too much. But I am a Noed enjoyer. So we believe this change will keep Noed a strong choice for endgame builds while encouraging survivors to find the totem and attempt that last second save. I think you will be shocked at how quickly survivors will find the Noed totem. You will maybe get one hit out of it. And equipping a perk for maybe one hit in the end game, that's no good. No, I don't like this. That's too much. 24 meters is too much. 24 meters is so far. So like, if the exit gates are powered and all 4 survivors are alive, which you could argue that you don't deserve to get an insta down in those cases, but I would argue that, you know, if they didn't do bones, then you get the benefit. So I think it's a totally fair trade-off, and I feel like that on both sides. Whenever Noed activates when I'm playing Survivor, I'm like, well, we didn't cleanse totems. Whenever it activates as Killer, I'm like, well, they didn't cleanse totems. So, yeah, I don't like this, but whatever. We'll see what other changes they made. Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. So when you hook a survivor on the Scourge Hook, the generator with the most progress explodes. notifying the killer, and instantly loses a large chunk of progress. It's 15% is what it is. It would take less time to write just 15%. But I guess it depends on the tier. The most recent addition to the meta, Pain Resonance, allows the killer to remove a sizable chunk from the most progress generator simply by hooking a survivor. Well, simply by hooking a survivor on a specific hook. So, not quite that easy. A loud noise notification also allows the killer to disrupt the survivors before they can continue repairing. A jack of all trades of sorts, granting both a powerful regression effect and crucial information. So yeah, when you hook someone on a Scourge hook, the generator with most progress explodes. It loses 15% progress, and the people that are working on it scream and stop repairing. Which, when you pair this with Dead Man's Switch, which automatically blocks the generator for 45 seconds after hooking someone if you stop working on it, it provides kind of a deadly combo, which is kind of annoying. With that in mind, we are removing the loud noise notification. Instead of exploding, the affected generator will now spark upon losing progress, and survivors will no longer scream. So basically, you can't pair it with Dead Man's Switch anymore. Interesting. We believe that this will ensure Pain Resonance remains a strong regression perk while limiting its informational aspect. Yeah, I think this is fine. I don't have any problem with this. I like Pain Resonance a lot. But yeah, this removes the combo Dead Man's Switch without nerfing Dead Man's Switch, because I don't think Dead Man's Switch needs a nerf. But I think this particular combo was a little too easy. A little too easy to just block gens, make the survivors scream. I think that survivors should have to manually, purposefully get off of a gen for Dead Man's Switch to activate. So this is fine. Cool. Survivor meta perks. Oh, here we go. Dead Hard. So Dead Hard, you press a button, you dash forward with some invincibility frames, and you become exhausted. Very simple. Immune to damage and dash short distance. Dead Hard is by far the most used perk for survivors, and it's easy to see why. In the right hands, it acts like a third health state. I guess, yeah. I'm gonna nitpick this. It sort of does, but you don't get the speed boost that you would get from a third health state, okay? It's not like playing Nemesis and having to hit survivors 3 times with a tentacle. Allowing a survivor to escape a situation where they would otherwise go down. I mean, you could describe any exhaustion perk like this. You could describe Lithe like this. Oh, Lithe is like a third health state. Sprint Burst is like a third health state. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's a little disingenuous, but I'll regress. I do like Dead Hard, for the record. I do like it. I think it's funny and fun. So there are 2 main ways Dead Hard is used: to dodge a hit and for distance, to get to a nearby pallet or window. So you can also just press the button to like get to a pallet or window faster, which I think should be what's nerfed about it. I'm hoping that it is. In the latter case, there's not much a killer can do. Yeah, there's nothing a killer can do unless they're a Huntress or a Trickster or Nemesis or something. Therefore, Dead Hard will now provide the endurance effect for 1 second when activated. Ooh, if you time it right, you'll prevent the hit and gain a movement speed boost. This will remove Dead Harding for distance and make it solely used to dodge hits, which killers can anticipate and even bait accordingly. Here is my hot take. I think this is better. I think this is ultimately better. That's just my first impression. I might be wrong. I'll have to see it in use. But they are removing Dead Hard for distance, so you can't just like dash forward to make it to a pallet or a window that you otherwise wouldn't make. So that part, that its utility, its variety of use is going down, which is good. But instead of just dashing forward for like a quick dodge of a hit, now you get the movement speed boost. And I imagine that the timing is going to be very similar for getting the endurance effect. Interesting. I'll have to see this in practice, but my initial thought is that this is better than it was. Wow. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I think this is one of those we'll have to wait and see. But the movement speed boost is, I think they're gonna have to take that away, is my initial thought. They're gonna have to take that away. Decisive Strike. After being unhooked, Decisive Strike activates for a long duration. When picked up, hit a special skill check to instantly wiggle free. Deactivates when used or performing various actions. Conspicuous actions. One of Decisive Strike's main appeals is its efficacy at preventing tunneling. In light of the upcoming base game changes, we expect Decisive Strike to drop in usage slightly. Oh, no. No, it will not. For the most part, we find the perk to be healthy for the game and easily avoidable for killers who choose not to tunnel an unhooked survivor. That being said, at the end of the match, there's often nothing the killer can do to prevent a survivor with Decisive Strike from escaping. Yep, that's a problem. Moving forward, Decisive Strike will now deactivate once the exit gates are powered. Oof. I get it, though. I get it. In addition, the stun duration has been reduced from 5 seconds to 3 seconds. We'll also be simplifying the description of the perk. Decisive Strike will now be canceled by conspicuous action. I actually like this. This makes me laugh. I'll maybe talk about that more later, but yeah, this is good because I don't mind DS when I play killer overall, but it is annoying when I down someone and the exit gates are open and I know they have DS and they're just crawling out, and then I am like, well, I have to pick them up. You wait it out. You pick them up at the very end. They have it. They escape. I don't think survivors should ever be in a situation like that where they have like a guaranteed escape. So yeah, I'm good with this. I've never liked Decisive Strike, even on Survivor. I never run Decisive Strike. I don't like it. I'm fine with it. Gut the thing, as far as I'm concerned. Gut it. It's also a perk that a lot of bad survivors run, and they think that they're the master of wit every time they get a stun. They successfully bait it. Yeah, whatever. Who cares? Borrowed Time. Very curious about this. Survivors you unhook gain the endurance effect for a short duration, 12 seconds, allowing them to ignore a hit that would otherwise put them in a dying state. Now, as we know, they gave this to your base kit for 5 seconds. Much like Decisive Strike, this perk gets much of the popularity by granting counterplay against a camping killer. Considering a lighter version of Borrowed Time's effect has been added to Survivor's base kit, we need to update the perk accordingly. Yes, you do. Borrowed Time will now extend the duration of the endurance effect of unhooked survivors by 6, 8, 10 seconds, and increase the movement speed bonus duration by 10 seconds for any survivor you unhook. So you get 15 seconds of endurance and a movement speed bonus, which you didn't have before. You just buff Borrowed Time? These effects will be canceled if the unhooked survivor performs a conspicuous action. Okay, well, whatever. While the overall duration with Borrowed Time is longer than before, we expect that having a lighter version of the base kit will cause the usage rates to drop. No! No, you buff Borrowed Time! Which I'm not against. I don't hate that change. Sorry, I guess I'm just blown away that they think that people aren't going to use this. No, they're absolutely going to use this. You buffed it. You buffed Borrowed Time. They're going to use this more often than before. I mean, bro, okay, hang on. So they get 15 seconds of movement speed duration and 15 seconds of endurance. That is great. Wow, I'm very surprised by this. They buffed Borrowed Time. And they think the usage rates are going to drop. I'm just blown away. Wow. Okay, let's go over some things real quick. 5 seconds is not enough. They're just going to get tunneled anyway, okay? I appreciate the effort. It's better than nothing. You know, having the 5 seconds base kit is better than not having it. But this, people are going to bring this because the 5 seconds is not enough. That's the thing. The 5 seconds isn't enough, so people are going to bring this. People are going to bring this in droves, dude. I'm not going anywhere without borrowed time now. It's amazing now. The 15 seconds of 7% haste? Are you kidding me? By the way, what are they going to do to Babysitter, Guardian now? The Steve perk. Because that gives haste after unhook. Are they changing that? I assume they are. Okay, yeah, that's crazy. I'd be surprised if that stayed the same. But which is a shame. I like it. I actually like the change. I just kind of wish it was more base kit than whatever. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what it's like in action, but I'm very surprised by that. Wow. Iron Will. They're changing Iron Will? Make sure grunts of pain silent. Iron Will's a passive perk. You know, when you're injured, you usually go like, and you whine. Well, Iron Will makes you completely silent. This perk allows skilled players to mind game more effectively in many areas by silencing grunts of pain. To address its high usage rates, we are lowering the grunts of pain reduction to 25, 50, 75. Additionally, Iron Will is no longer active when exhausted, though it will not cause exhaustion itself. Wow, okay. I didn't think they needed to nerf Iron Will, but I guess I get it. Making a survivor completely silent was not fun to play against, and it was something that like encouraged sloppy play. Because like with completely silent grunts, you could basically play however you wanted in certain parts of certain maps and stuff like that. And it was less reliant on your skill anymore, which I used to crutch on Iron Will hard just because of that. Sometimes the killer would just flat out lose you. You know, it's like stealthing as Ghostface as killer. You know, you don't have the red stain anymore. Well, with Iron Will, you don't have the grunts of pain. It's kind of like that. I like Ghostface, by the way. I'm not saying anything about undetectable, but yeah, okay. It's no longer active when exhausted, though. Okay. Interesting. Well, I mean, what do I care? Ooh, self-care. They're changing self-care. Yeah, I'm not completely against this. I get it. I'm not against it at all. Sure. Fine change to Iron Will. Fine change. Self-care. Unlocks the ability to heal yourself without a med kit at 50% speed. Please tell me they're nerfing this. Though self-care has a divisive reputation among the community, we were surprised to find that its usage peaks in the highest skill matches. Does it? Let's go back and take a look. Does it peak? It does not. That's a lie. This purple line right here is self-care. See, in the center? The usage actually peaks in mid MMR. And it declines in top MMR, high MMR. Which I would consider the last 300 here, is it declines. Why did they say that it peaks? It does not peak. Having a consistent and reliable way to heal at will is a powerful tool in the right hands. On top of that, self-care increases the efficiency of medkits, allowing starters to squeeze additional heals out of them. To reduce its strength, self-care's heal speed will be lowered to 35%, and the item efficiency bonus has been removed entirely. Oh, no, don't do that. Oh, I like self-care gamers as killer. The thing is though, people are still gonna run this, and they're gonna queue up, and they're gonna be in my solo queue games, and it's gonna take them even longer now to self-care. Okay. Well, I do not know why self-care is used as much as it is. That's just my take. All right, Spine Chill. Activates when the killer's nearby and looking in your direction, increasing action speeds and the chance for skill checks. Okay. So Spine Chill is probably most popular at the moment for its use in Vault build, because it increases your Vault speed by 9% when the killer's looking at you, which they will be in a chase. And if you combo that with Resilience, when you're injured, you get 15% extra Vault speed, which can be the difference between getting hit and vaulting successfully. So I'll be interested to see what they do. This perk excels at alerting survivors when a killer is approaching, and in high skill lobbies, the vault speed increase becomes the primary draw. Something tells me they're going to change the vault speed. There are a few aspects of this perk we would like to clean up. Spine Chill will now only activate if the killer has a clear line of sight to the survivor. This will remove the awkward counterplay where the killer must look away to ensure a stealthy approach. I do that all the time. Oh, interesting. Wow, that's a big nerf to Spine Chill. Well, what's the point of it then? If the killer has a clear line of sight, you'll be able to see them. You know what? I've always kind of hated Spine Chill, so that's fine. I don't care. Playing killer against Spine Chill gamers that, like, get off the gen 20 seconds before you actually get there and just hold W, that I hated that, so good change, I guess. Next, we'll be adding a short 0.5 seconds linger effect to Spine Chill. This will prevent the perk icon from flickering when the killer looks around and makes the action speed boost more consistent. Finally, we'll be removing the vault speed bonus entirely. No, it was fun though. All right. I mean, I guess I get it. This is one of those things like, yeah, fine. Overall, okay. Fine with Spine Chill, I guess. Although I am fine with it overall. I'm fine with it. Fine with Self-Care, I guess. Fine with Iron Will. Borrowed Time buffed, completely flummoxed by that. Decisive Strike, fine with. Dead Hard, I think possibly stronger in its intended use. Stronger in its intended use. AKA not for distance, obviously. So yeah, overall good changes to the survivor perks. I feel like the killer perks were kind of a little too harsh changes. Let's look at the non-meta perk changes now. With so many meta perks being changed, we want to make sure that everyone had something new to look forward to. We've updated 25 additional perks to try out, the majority of which fulfill a similar purpose to the meta perks listed above. Very fun. Overcharge. So overcharge, when you kick a generator, it makes the next person that touches the generator have a hard skill check, like a decisive strike. And if they don't get it, then the generator explodes and regresses by like 5%, I think. Or 8%? No, that's Jolt. I think Overcharge is 5%. Overcharge will cause a kick generator's regression speed to grow from 100% to 400% over the course of 30 seconds. Survivors will want to stop this generator from regressing as soon as possible. Huh. I mean, I feel like people are just going to run Call of Brine, but good thought, good thought. Eruption. We have up to the generator regression penalty to 10% and the duration of the incapacitated state to 15, 20, 25 seconds. So when a killer kicks a generator and then they down someone, if you're working on the generator that they kicked, it explodes, it regresses. It does that whether you're working on it or not. But if you're working on it, then you scream and you become incapacitated. I'm not sure what the current duration is. I want to say it's 15 seconds. So this is actually a big change. When you're incapacitated, you cannot work on gens. You cannot heal people. You can't basically perform any actions. I think it's a crap status effect to make it to where you can't do anything except walk around. So I'm a little annoyed that they're making this change. But I get it. They wanted to buff it. Knockout. No, don't buff Knockout. Those of you who like to leave survivors on the ground can have a little more peace of mind. Knockout is one of those perks that only is really effective against solo queue, which they don't need. They don't need the extra challenge. So basically, when you down a survivor with left click, like your regular attack, it makes it to where other survivors can't see their aura. So it's a slugging perk. So when the killer downs somebody with knockout, they often will slug them. They'll leave them on the ground because their teammates won't be able to find them to get them up. It only lasts for a certain amount of time, and it's for like a a certain like number of meters away people can see. So I don't know. I just don't like it though. In addition to its current effect, knockout will cause dying stars to crawl 50% slower for 15 seconds and reduce the recovery speed by 25%. No, we don't need slugging perks. We don't need slugging perks in this game. Slugging is so boring. When you slug someone on the ground as survivor, you're making it to where they can't do anything. And with perks like this, you're making it to where they can't do anything even more. I just don't think it's good game design. Chorophobia. To make healing in the killer's terror radius even more unappealing. So when you heal in the killer's terror radius with chorophobia, it reduces the rate of healing by 50%, I want to say. Chorophobia will now increase the speed of skill checks by 50% on top of its current effect. The speed of skill checks. So not the frequency of skill checks, but the speed. So how fast they... So you'll miss skill checks. That's fine. Yeah, sure. Dark Devotion. So if you left click and hit a survivor, I believe it's for the obsession only. If you hit the obsession, the obsession will gain the killer's terror radius, meaning that after you hit them, you won't have a terror radius for, I believe, like 20 seconds, 24 seconds, 30 seconds. I can't remember the duration. It's not that long, though. And instead, the obsessed survivor who got hit, they'll have the terror radius. So it's fun for mind games. It's a fun perk. The basic attack requirement makes it unappealing for certain killers. Dark Devotion will now activate whenever the obsession loses a health state. So you can use this with Huntress Hatchets and the like. Cool. You can also... This is good because this is a Plague perk, and you can now use it with Plague. You can just throw up on people. And they get... you can have Dark Devotion activate. Cool. Jolt. So when you down a survivor with your basic attack... Any generators within 32 meters explode and regress by 8% is the current effect. Jolt allows the killer to regress generation by downing a survivor. To make it more consistent and punish careless survivor plays, we have removed the cooldown. Oh, it did have a cooldown. Cool. That's good. That's a good change. No cooldown on Jolt. Lethal Pursuer. So at the beginning of a match, for the first 7 seconds, I believe, you see the auras of all survivors. Might be 10 seconds, actually. I think it's 10 seconds at rank 3. You see the aura of all survivors around the map. On top of the existing effects, Lethal Pursuer now extend the duration of all aura reading effects by 2 seconds. So it's like open-handed for killer. That's cool. That's good that it does something after the beginning of the game. That's always what I didn't like about it. I never run Lethal Pursuer because I didn't like that... After the first 10 seconds, it just does nothing. Sometimes in the first 10 seconds of a match, I'm not even paying attention. I'm like getting a drink or, you know, talking to chat while I'm streaming, so this is good. Scourge Hook, Gift of Pain. So when you get unhooked from a Scourge Hook and you get fully healed, you then suffer a 7% gen repair, healing, and other actions penalty, speed penalty, for a certain amount of time. We'll be increasing the action speed penalty to 10, 13, 16%. I want to say it was 7%. It might be 8%, actually, because I think they're doubling it here. I think it's like 5, 6, 8. Well, okay. I don't have a problem with this. Thanophobia. So for each injured, down, or dying or dead survivor, Thanophobia gives a speed penalty to gen repair, healing, unhooking, etc. I think it's unhooking, right? Oh, not healing anymore. They changed that. It used to have the healing penalty. It doesn't anymore. We are increasing the action speed penalty by 0.5%. So max used to be 5% per survivor. Or no, it was 4%, wasn't it? I don't know. I use Thanophobia only on Legion, and I don't really keep track of it. I think it was 4%. Now 5.5%. So if everybody's injured, it has a 22% speed penalty. Now you combo this, like Thanophobia already got buffed. It already got buffed from the gen repair speeds. It went from 80 to 90. So that means that the percentage is more effective, I think. Math is hard. So, interesting. I think it may have gotten double buffed. I'm not totally against a buff to Thanophobia because I think it's cool to run on like Legion or Plague. Although Legion and Plague are kind of miserable to play against in solo queue anyway. Whatever. That's fine. Sure. Scourge Hook, Monstrous Shrine. They're changing Monstrous Shrine to a Scourge Hook. So Monstrous Shrine, infamously one of the worst perks in the game. It basically makes it to where you die quicker on hook in the basement. And it's also harder for you to struggle out, which is harder to do that anyway. It's kind of a meme perk. Long have we waited. Monstrous Shrine has received a rework. This perk will now convert all basement hooks to Scourge Hooks. Yeah. Additionally, Scourge Hooks will now grant 10, 15, 20% faster enemy progression. Oh. But only if the killer is not within 24 meters. Good. Because the thing is, this used to be run with, it is run with Insidious Bubba, or just face camping Bubba. And they would just sit there in the basement and you would die faster on hook. And then they would combo this with a perk called Deadlock, that when you finish a generator, it blocks the next most far along gen. And so Basement Bubbas would run Monstrous Shrine and Deadlock together, and they'd basically make it to where somebody is insured to die on hook in the basement before you can finish all the gens. And then, they run Noed, they get, whatever. The deal with Basement Bubbas. So it's good that they're changing this. Great. I want to see more of this. This right here, kill within 24 meters. I want to see more of that shit. Okay, so that's killer. Okay, fine. Yeah, fine. Okay, survivor perk buffs. Calm Spirit. In addition to Calm Spirit's current effects, which, by the way, it makes it to where you don't scream as survivor. Very effective against the doctor, and it makes it to where you do not alert wildlife, aka crows. So, if you are like walking over by a rock in the corner of the map and a crow flies off and the killer like whips their head around and they're like, what was that? That's alerting crows. But with Calm Spirit, you don't do that. Anyway, you can now open chests and cleanse and bless totems silently, albeit at 40, 35, and 30% reduced speed. What the hell is this? What the hell is this? Who wants to have a 30% speed reduction to blessing totems? Can you imagine blessing a hex totem with this? How long would that take? A full minute? Could do a gen in that time. Wow. All right. Okay, well, it takes... So, to cleanse a totem or bless a totem, a non-hex totem takes 14 seconds, I believe. So, 30% reduced speed. That's 4.2 seconds taken off, I want to say. So, that's 8... It goes from 14 to 18 seconds. Eesh, is it worth it? Well, I'm not going to be running Calm Spirit anyway, so. Just to silently open chests and cleanse my totems? Come on. After months of studying, saboteurs can now identify Scourge Hooks. Their auras are shown in yellow when a survivor is being carried. Use this information to your advantage to prevent Scourge Hook perks from being activated. Okay, this is kind of a nothing change. Saboteur, by the way, allows you to sabotage hooks with your bare hands. You don't need a toolbox, but you do it so slowly that it's not worth it. And it has a cooldown. Nobody ever runs Saboteur. I don't think that'll change. Botany Knowledge just increased your healing speed. It's healing speed efficiency by up to 33%. Now it's up to 50%. Okay, I guess they say efficiency here, but they probably mean healing speed and efficiency. Like, because it also increased the item efficiency. Or maybe they just mean healing speed. I think it's just healing speed. Botany Knowledge. Sure. Off the record. So off the record, when you got unhooked, you would basically gain Iron Will, Grunts of Pain, Silenced, for 90 seconds, and your aura would be hidden from the killer. So if the killer hooked someone else, they wouldn't see you on Barbecue and Chili or Nurses Calling or whatever. Off the record, not a bad perk. Upon being unhooked, gain the Endurance status effect for 60, 70, 80 seconds. What? The endurance effect is lost upon performing a conspicuous action. While this is a lengthy endurance effect, any game progression action will cancel it prematurely, making it purely for evading the killer after being unhooked. 80 seconds of endurance? Bro, this is the new DS. This is the better DS. Yeah. I'll have to see how this works out. Imagine running off the record with DS. Not only if a killer was trying to tunnel you, they would, if they got a hit on you, you would get endurance. If they got another hit on you, then you would get the decisive strike stun. Interesting. This could potentially be very strong. We'll have to see. Lucky break. So the first time you're injured, you get 60 seconds where your pools of blood that you leave behind are not left behind, and where your grunts of pain are silent. No, not that one. Your scratch marks. You don't leave any scratch marks. It can basically make you disappear. This perk is great for escaping a chase, but the effect quickly runs out. We're giving survivors a way to recharge Lucky Break. Each second spent healing another survivor increases Lucky Break's duration by 1 second. The total time cannot exceed the starting duration. Okay. That's good that there's a way to recharge it, because Lucky Break's problem, it's really strong, but once it's done, it's done. And I don't like any perk like that, so that's why I haven't run it. It's cool that you can recharge it, though. Pharmacy. So Pharmacy used to guarantee an emergency med kit the first time you search a chest, which you either hope nobody takes before you need it or hide in a far-off corner like a med kit goblin. Now, Pharmacy will activate whenever you're injured, guaranteeing an emergency med kit when you search a chest. This effect can happen multiple times in one trial. Good luck stealing my med kit now, Meg. This feels very personal. Peanuts, are you okay? How many times has this happened to you? I feel like some of the developers played a game with Pharmacy, and a Meg stole the med kit, and then they were salty about it, and then this change happened. I mean, this is fine. Yeah, I'm still not going to run Pharmacy, but Soul Survivor, Lori perk. I forget what it does because it was so bad. In addition to hiding your aura, if you're the last person alive, I think is what it does. It hides your aura. Soul Survivor will now increase your generator repair speed by 75%. And your exit gate and hatch action speed by 50%. These effects are only active when you are the last survivor standing. 75%? This actually, there's a very hard to get achievement in DBD for being the last person alive and finishing the last generator, opening the exit, and leaving. So this would actually make that a bit easier to do. Very interesting. Now, it's obviously very situational, and it still sucks, but I kind of like the extreme effects of this. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. It also what do you call it? De-emphasizes searching for the hatch as the last survivor if there's a gen you can commit to, which I like. So people still aren't going to use it, but it's cool. Distortion. So Distortion gives you 4 tokens at the start of the match. Anytime the killer would detect your aura, a token is used up instead. For those who like to stay hidden, we've added a way to regain Distortion tokens. Gain 1 token for every 30 seconds spent within the killer's terror radius. Yes! Yes! I like anything with stacks in this game. Well, almost anything. A way to regain stacks? Let's go! Now, interestingly, up here, it says the total time cannot exceed the starting duration. This is very interesting in that it doesn't say the same thing here. So can you get 5 or more Distortion tokens? Remains to be seen. Unclear. Lightweight. So lightweight reduces the amount of time that your scratch marks stay visible by 3 seconds. Currently, I think the default is 10 seconds that they're visible. So 7 seconds with lightweight. Seems like it's strong, but it's not. Let's see. In addition to lightweight's existing effects, your scratch marks will be more sporadic, making it harder to track. No. Your scratch marks will also fade 5 seconds sooner. That is very significant. So your scratch marks go from taking 10 seconds to disappear to 5. That might actually make a difference. 5 seconds. And they're more sporadic. I'll tell you right now, I'm going to hate playing against that as killer if it catches on. Deja vu. Wow. Deja vu, when you finish a generator, you get to see the killer's aura. To help survivors power the 3 closest generators. Oh, wait, no, Deja vu, I was thinking of Dark Sense. I get all these eye perks mixed up. That was Dark Sense I was describing. I think Deja vu makes it to where it's like the anti-3 gen perk. I can't remember what it does now. It's just bad. Deja vu will now grant a 5% repair speed bonus to the revealed generators. So basically it's like, it wants, I think when you finish a generator, it reveals to you the generators that are closest together. So it's to prevent a 3 gen, which you can just do game sense for that. But at least you get a repair speed bonus now. Wow. No one left behind. So this is an endgame effect where at the end you get a 100% blood point bonus to unhooking, and you get to see all survivors' auras once the exit gates are powered. And I believe you get a speed bonus to unhooking as well. Beyond its current effects, No One Left Behind will grant a 7% movement speed bonus to any survivors you unhook. Cool. The perk now activates when the gates are powered rather than open. Nice. I like that. Dark Sense. This is the one I was just talking about. When a generator is powered, Dark Sense activates. The next time the killer comes within 24 meters of you, their aura is revealed for 5, 7, 10 seconds. Dark Sense then deactivates. Ah, so you get like a spine chill, basically. A one-time use spine chill. Per generator. One-time use per generator. That's fine. Tenacity. In addition to the current effects, Tenacity makes you crawl 50% faster, and you can crawl and recover at the same time when you're down. Tenacity now reduces your grunts of pain by 75% when in the dying state. Oh no! Combined with the increased crawling speed, this perk will now make it more effective in crawling away from the killer. I don't know if I like that. It's hard enough to find slugs when they don't want to be found. 75%. I'm gonna have to really strain to hear them. I'm not sure I like this. No, I don't like that. Hope. So Hope gives you a 7% haste effect when the exit gates are powered. No, I think when they're opened. I think when the endgame collapse has started. Hope is great for those who like to make late game saves, but the limited duration can cause it to expire at an inconvenient time. Since the perk is only useful at the end of the match, we've removed the duration entirely. Oh, maybe it's when the exit gates are powered then. But I think it only activated for like 60 seconds. I want to say, man, this is like the great DBD quiz, huh? I think it was 60 seconds. So yeah, no more duration. Overzealous. They're already changing. This is the new Hattie perk. In its current state, cleansing a totem grants you a repair speed bonus of 6, 7, 8%. Now that bonus doubles if you cleanse a hex totem. What? You're giving me 16% repair speed for cleansing a hex totem? Until you get injured. You lose it when you get injured. That's pretty ambitious, but I like it. I like that change, actually, because I think it's been enough time since Dredge and Hattie came out to where we can see like this isn't a big deal, which I knew it wouldn't be, because it takes more time to cleanse a totem than the repair speed bonus that you'll get from the perk. So it's, it does have its uses. Like if you really need to like, if you're working with other survivors with like Prove Thyself or something, and you're really trying to just like repair down a generator that you really need to get done. Yeah. We're going to live forever. So this gave you 25% extra blood points for every survivor that you safely unhook and or take a protection hit for. Up to 100%, up to 4 stacks. So basically it doubled your blood points if you got 4 stacks. Much like barbecue and chili, this perk features a massive blood point bonus. We do not want blood points to dictate which perks are used. We have removed the bonus blood points from We're Gonna Live Forever. Oh, also, you can get you can heal slugged survivors up by double speed, which was very good. This change will release at the same time as the progression overhaul, which is expected to cut the grind by about 75%. Yeah. Okay. Additionally, the actions that previously granted a token will now activate the perk. Okay, so instead of getting stacks, when you safely unhook a survivor or take a protection hit, you activate the perk. While active, healing a survivor from the dying state grants them the endurance effect for 6, 8, 10 seconds. Oh, okay. So you basically give them Soul Guard. Except it lasts a little bit longer. I think Soul Guard is 8 seconds of endurance. And this gives 10. Ooh. It's like borrowed time for slugs. I like that. I like that change. I mean, it's sad about the blood points, but I like that change overall. Makes it like borrowed time for slugs. I like that. Very cool. Oh, that's the it. That's the it. Listen to me. I've been sitting here for 2 hours talking about this. We realize that following these changes, a new meta will surely rise. We'll be closely monitoring the performance of each updated perk to ensure that none fall too far out of line. Moving forward, we hope to make meta-shaking updates like this a more frequent part of our plans in order to keep gameplay feeling fresh. Okay, it was a long one. These changes will be made available for testing this week in the PTB. Keeping a close eye out for feedback. A live stream in the near future to preview the update and answer any questions you may have. Until next time, the Dead by Daylight team. I see. Well, interesting changes overall. I like some of them more than others. And yeah, I think we'll just have to see how they turn out. But yeah, I think the one I'm most surprised by is the borrowed time change. I kind of can't believe that. And I was really hoping that they were going to do more about camping and tunneling. But overall, I like the changes and I'm excited to see how they turn out. I do have like some hot takes here and there. I don't think they should have nerfed Noed. I like Noed as is, but I like most perks as is. My general opinion on the game has been that all the perks are fine and there's nothing wrong with any of them. So, I'm sad to see some of these go, but I'll get over it. Let me know what y'all think about the new changes. I am disappointed, just first and foremost, with the grind reduction that they didn't remove the blood point cap. Especially now, I don't understand why we have the 1 million cap. Just increase it to 10 million. There's no reason to have it. Ugh. I know that I think maybe they think that with the reduction of the grind, that we won't need to hoard blood points as much, but it's just about convenience, especially like during the anniversary event. You're getting all these flans, all these cakes and stuff, and you have to spend blood points constantly. I just don't see a need for it. I was kind of hoping like if they were gonna do that, they were gonna do that in this patch, but I guess not. Overall, though, I'm very excited about these changes. I am a little wary of some of the changes, but we'll see how they all interact with each other. So who knows? There might be some unforeseen interactions, or maybe some things that I looked at and I was like, that's really strong. Maybe it won't be. Maybe some stuff that I looked at and I was like, that's a bit crap. Maybe they will be very strong. It'll just be like one of those things where like only time will tell. So yeah, let me know what y'all thought. And great. I'll see y'all in the next video.